Hi guys, and welcome back to Modifix. My name's Dan, and today we are fixing and modifying a little bit. Okay guys, before putting this inlet manifold back on, I just want to address a few issues. So first of all, I need to take these lug bolts out. I've already addressed the other side, but basically these are M12 times 1.5 thread, and they've just been bottomed out in the hole. I don't think they're sealing properly, and I did look for some blanks and I did find some on eBay, but I want to put this back together today and then get some blanks and put them in later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the original PCV valves back in the holes and cap them. So that's done, that side, and I will do it on this side as well. This is just a straight bolt, that's all it is, right? It's not tapered, nothing, so that's definitely not sealing. It's gonna leak here, guaranteed. This here is tapered, so I'll put a bit of Loctite on there, put it in the hole, tighten it up, and that should be good. As and when I do get the right plugs, I'll put them in. So that's it, or bungs, or whatever you want to call them. Now these, I think I showed you yesterday, there were silicone bungs on there and they'd fallen to bits, and if you look at how rough that edge is, that's probably the reason why, or part of the reason why. So I'm going to square them off nice, and then I don't know, I haven't decided whether I'm taking them off yet. I'll probably have to, because I don't want to get swarf in the plenum. Take them off, slice them off, and then put them back on, and then I need to figure out a way to actually block them. I might have a cap similar to this one. They're a bit thin, but should work, so we'll come to that in a minute. And then there is a big one here that needs to be capped off, and I think that one I'm gonna actually use a similar cap to that one there, just cap that off. And then finally I'm just going to clean all this up. I'm going to block these off if they need to be blocked off. That doesn't look very good, so do a neater job of that. And then clean inside here. As you can see, it's not the cleanest. Oh, I've got to clean this surface off, mating surface for the gasket. So what I'll do first is get this problem sorted out, and then once that's done, I'll move on to this problem here. Right, they're both good now, nice and airtight, been thread sealed as well and wound in. So that will do. I don't really care about aesthetics for now, it's all about functionality, and I want to make sure this thing is airtight. So that's that done. Next, let's sort these babies out. Well, I've just whipped that out, and look how deep it is. It goes in that far. Didn't expect that. So there may be an alternative method. We could block that up from inside, but if we do that, it's a little bit high risk, because if whatever we put on there falls off into the manifold, then it's going to be danger to manifold. Let's cut that straight and blank it off. Right guys, it's update time. I didn't think I'd actually resolve to doing this, but that was the EGR bung or whatever. Not bung, what was it called? Anyway, whatever, you know what I mean. So anyway, that was it. I ground the front flush with a view to tap it and then put that wheel bolt in and cut it off. And when I cut the wheel bolt off, that just slid out of there. So now I think I have no option but to make one of these, just make a blank. So I've got a bit of metal that's plenty thick, it's about 3mm I think, and I've drawn around that, and I shall cut it out now. Right guys, and a bit of angle grinding later and drilling. We have one blank. Now time to make another one. In fact, let me just show you how it fits. So it fits pretty bloody well, I'll tell you that. I think it's that way. It's a weird shape, this. That's it. So there you go, beautiful. So time to make another one. I just wanted to show you mid-stage of making this. So I've basically clamped the metal onto here, drawn outside of it, and then cut it, holding it in this mole grip, and then get a linishing pad and just go around it. So that's done. Now I'm going to drill the holes, so I'll stick this straight in the vise now, so it's held where it is, and use those holes as my template. Right then guys, number 1 and number 2. What I'm thinking is a bit of sealant under there, plop that on, bolt it down, and that's it mate, all done. All done. Right guys, and that is all done. Now I'm just gonna probably give it a bit of a dust with some black paint. Right, that's all painted, mainly for protection, not for aesthetics, remember. And it's going to be underneath the plenum anyway, so no one's even going to see it, so that's fine. Now I've got to start cleaning this up. Now I was gonna use a plastic razor, but not bloody very good, to be honest. They're a bit meh. So if you compare that to the Scotch Brite, much better, yeah. So I'm just gonna buzz all this down with this. Alright guys, that is as clean as I want to get it for now. All of the gloop and stuff has come off it. The dark bits are just, I think, low parts on the manifold, but yeah, it's pretty bloody clean at the moment, so that'll do nice. Now I'm going to give this a little clean inside. It's a bit mucky in there, don't like the look of it, and it needs a clean, so let's do that. Okay guys, this is before. Have a look in there, nice and crusty as you can see. And then this is after. Right guys, I think you'll agree that that looks about a million times better. There's still a bit of crud inside, but it's much better than it was, and I can't actually seem to get rid of that unless I think the only way I could get rid of that is if I take the throttle body off, and I don't think I'm doing that today because I haven't got any new gaskets. So it's cleaner than it was, and I'm happy with that. Makes me feel better. Okay, last job on the manifold before we put it back in the car. I want to clean all this up and get some O-rings on there. Now if you buy an O-ring kit for these, they are like £10 off eBay just for 3 O-rings. For £15 you can buy this kit from Screwfix, which has like hundreds of O-rings in it, and it has the size you need and beyond. So little tip for you there. Suitable for antifreeze, oil, grease and other garage and workshop plumbing applications. So sweet. The O-ring section has been cleaned, I'll show you that in a little while. But I decided that whilst I'm here, I'm going to get rid of all this excess fat here and just lop it all off. I have already done some, and here is kind of what I want as the desired result. So if I can do that on all of them, make them super smooth, then we will have easy access to the injectors and may not ever have to remove the manifold again, which will be fantastic. What I'm actually doing, you're going to think I'm a savage now, I'm actually using this. That's why it might look a little bit messy, but with a little bit of black paint on there, no one will be any the wiser. It's only places like that where it's catching. Look at that guys. I don't know what that is. Somebody else did that before I got this car, so maybe that's the same objective I'm trying to reach. I've deleted that. This one is a little bit more difficult on this side. Don't know why, but the angle grinder doesn't want to fit in there. That one's beautiful, and that one's not bad either. So now what I'm going to do is get the Dremel out with a little sanding disc on it and just file away any bits that I couldn't get to before, and all done then. Rightio guys, I have placed the manifold to see what the injector clearance looks like. That one is beautiful. That one is good as well. That one could be a little bit sketchy, but it's not too bad. And then if we go around to the other side, this is where things get a bit interesting. So that one can be got to just about, but might be a bit sketchy. So I think we're going to draw a line there and maybe try and cut a bit more of a groove out in that area. Same with that one, and and that one's probably the worst, to be honest. So let's see if I can cut a bit more of a groove in those areas and allow us a bit more wiggle room, which we definitely need. So hold on, let me just check if this manifold's 100% in place first, because something seems a bit awry here. 1 second. Okie dokie, just shimmied the manifold across a little bit and it is a bit better. Look, that is in the hole now, so it shows that the manifold is a bit more aligned. So we've got that there, which isn't too bad now. That there, also not terrible. And then we've got that there, which is quite bad actually. So I'm going to try and grind a bit more out of these and I'll show you the end result. Right guys, as we can see now, there's a bit more space here, a lot more space there, and a little bit more space here as well, so it might work. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to hone that out a little bit more down the bottom and paint it. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to clean all of this up, put the gasket on and get ready to drop the manifold on. Okay, if you have a brand new gasket and you're worried about which way round it goes, fear not, because if you look at this as kind of a caterpillar or a bear with ears and multiple bellies, no, a caterpillar would probably be a better analogy. If you look at that end as the head and go down, that's the only way the gasket will fit. It won't fit any other way. This is a very nice gasket, close to OEM. It might actually be OEM. It's from Conceptual Tuning, as I may have mentioned earlier. So that will drop down there. Now what I'm afraid of is I'm doing this on my own and it is dark, so I'm just hoping this gasket doesn't move when I drop the manifold on it, and just got to make sure all that wiring back there is out of the way. What a bugger, but let's try, hey? What's the worst that can happen? I forgot to show you the finished manifold. Look at that, all painted up. You can't tell that it was ever shaved now. It's been given a nice clean shave. It's come out pretty good. I just gave it a quick blip with some black paint, nothing major. So that's done. I cleaned the O-ring holes there and there, so they're ready to rock and roll now. Right guys, I was going to say, don't forget to plug those two plugs in. That's the idle air control valve. Is it idle air control valve or is it? I can't remember, but it's something to do with the throttle and controlling it. And the other one there is something else as well. Just got to make sure those are plugged in. And I've just had a look at the let me see if I can shine the light in the right place. Actually, hold on. Okay, so as you can see here, look at those terminals. They look well corroded. The other two might be similar as well, so I'm going to give all of this, where's it gone? Give all of this a bit of a clean before I put it back together. Just get some emery cloth and just rub down the terminals. I'll show you after. As you can see, that is much better now. And you'll never believe what I used to clean it. You know when you get useless things in a cracker, like a little nail file. So I actually got that nail file, cut it in half. It was only a little mini nail file that came from a cracker. Cut it in half, wedged it in there, bit of up and down movement, and it's done a bloody good job, if I'm honest. I'm just gonna squirt a bit of WD down there now, I think, and then I think we'll call it a day. I think that's good enough. Might do that one as well. Let's have a look at that. Yeah. Alright, the nail file idea is great because every time you use a bit you can actually cut it off and carry on. Look how clean they've come out now. Just gave it a squirt of WD-40 and then in there as well, look at that, gorgeous. They were bloody green before, I tell you. Anyway, they're all nice and clean now. Let me bang it in the hole. Right guys, I am having a bit of a nightmare here because this plug, as you can see, has seen better days, and even though the terminals are all nice and clean now, when I put that on, look how loose it is. It's not very tight and the clip's missing and the plug's broken anyway. So I've been struggling for ages. That one's been cable tied and it's pretty solid, so that's fine. I know it's trapping the wires a little bit, but I was trying to look for a solution for ages and I just couldn't find one, and I think I've got one now and it should work well. So basically, if you've seen my other videos, you'll have seen I use butyl tape to seal up my rear lights on the MR2. So this is the butyl stuff. It's like plasticine but very sticky and grippy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the top edge here and then with the clippy, and we should be all right. Let's see, and it'll keep the water out as well. Right, that's what I've done. Now I don't know if it's going to work really, but I'm just going to squidge this on and hopefully it will work one way or another. It feels good so far. Oh yes, and that, my friends, is bloody solid and waterproof. Wicked. Alright guys, after a lot of shimmying around, the manifold is in position and the holes are lined up. I use a screwdriver just to move the gasket around and stuff, and we seem to be there. I'm crouched over the engine at the moment. My knees are killing me, so I need to get down. Okay, the light shut itself after about an hour. The manifold is lined up and we're going to drop the bolts in now. I think I'm just going to double check that nothing's trapped underneath and all the wires are clear, and then back to assembly, I think. All right guys, I finally got that lined up and in. I've tightened it by hand. I don't have a torque wrench and I don't know the torque settings, but I started from the middle, out, that sort of thing, and then I sort of added a quarter turn after, and it feels good, so I'm going to leave it at that. This is the part where I say the refit is the reverse of the this is the part where I say the refit is the reverse of what I just did. So now, in fact, I am going to actually watch all my videos back and put everything back in the order that I took it off, and I should be in a good place. So I'm going to start with the earths and then I'm just going to put everything back to normal. I might leave the vac lines for now and do them another day because I'm going to reconfigure those and I've got some stuff to show you. So let's crack on. Alright guys, it's a new day and we have sunlight, which is amazing. Now I've got to put the balancer bar back on, and this is the O-ring kit I was showing you earlier. Look at the amount of O-rings in there and all the different sizes. So you've got up to 5 centimeters internal diameter, so very, very good, and 10 of most, 20 of some. I'm just going to find some sizes that fit and I'll tell you which sizes did. Alright guys, the O-rings are on and in position. So one of them was that one, well, 2 of them from there, and then one of them from there. So the big one is a R26, which is a 34.5mm internal diameter, and the small one is a R12, which is 18mm internal diameter. Big one is a touch too big, so it could have done with being 34 dead, but I haven't got one of those, so this will do. Okay guys, it's the next day now, the day after the next day, and everything is back together as it should be. Now last night, after putting it all back together and spending the whole bloody day on it, getting rid of any potential vac leaks and rearranging some of the stuff, you might see this here. So this was actually running alongside that, and as a reason that was kicked out, and this pipe wasn't fitting nice, so I had to rearrange that. So I'm gonna have to find a fitting that comes out of here at a 90 degree and see if we can run the pipe straight from here. I don't know yet, but anyway, need a solution for that. If anybody's got any ideas, do share them. I've got everything back together, all the vac leaks sorted out, and a lot of the vacuum reconfigured, and I started it up and we've got a misfire. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I thought I'd cut it there because the next part is all about spark plugs, and I thought that would be appropriate for another video. The videos are getting a little bit long. I want to try and keep them short and sweet and specific for what people are interested in. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and look out for the next one. Bye for now.